Welcome back to Northwood's Forge. I know it's been a while. This is my second try on this video. So hopefully it comes out better because I had no audio whatsoever. I've had some requests to make this, how to make this bell. It's not a hard project. There is some forge welding right here for the clacker, but it's a pretty neat little bell. I don't have the dinger in it, but just on the anvil it sounds pretty good. What we use is 3/4 inch black pipe. I have used 1 inch, 2 inch, however big a bell you want to make. It's just naturally going to take a little longer to make the bigger it is. Sorry, gotta turn this down so I don't burn so much coal up. It's a slow process. You don't want to go too fast. This pipe has a welded seam in it, and you want to work it hot and slow. This was actually the last bell that I made. I just cut off, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off so we start with a fresh piece of pipe. And I will show you what to do from there. I'm not going to do it for this video, but you can do the same thing with copper tubing. Makes a nice bell also. Of course you can't forge weld it, but you can solder or braze your clacker in there. I will be using this tool with foldering dies, probably 5/8 to 1/2 inch radius on these to folder my pipe down. Alright, let's get started. Make sure it's good and hot. Safety glasses. I don't use a big hammer because you'll want to work this slow. I go about 2 inches, 2.5, or 1.5. And keep rotating it. Okay. I want to get it hotter. As soon as it gets a dull red, move on. Alright, I'm kind of skipping stuff here, so because this takes a long time. I've necked down our pipe. This would be our bell. This would be our handle. Okay, so I got myself a scrap piece of 1/4 inch round. Just a cutoff I had from somewhere. And what we're trying to achieve here is necking it down so this will fit. Don't go too far, because once you get that too far, it's almost impossible to get it in there. I'm a little loose, but I'm okay with that. What I'll do next is I'll cut this off, which I will show in a minute after I'm done doing it, and then I'll forge this out. I'll draw a real long narrow taper, not a real long narrow taper, about 1/2 inch long and maybe an 1/8 inch wide, and make a little loop. And what that's going to do is we're going to feed that through, and it's going to set right there with that little loop, and that's what you're going to tie your for a better use of term, dinger with that. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, so I've cut my pipe off, and we have it neck down. It's a little large, like I said before, but we'll make do. I also forged my little hook, and what we're going to end up doing with this is I made it extra long so I can hold on to it, but we place it in here, and that's what we tie our, like I said earlier, for a better term, our dinger. So I'm going to close this up a little bit more, and then we're going to forge weld this. Okay, so now I have this is not welded yet, but we've tightened it up and prepared it for welding. And I'll actually show the welding. The other stuff is kind of boring, took a while, so we'll do some welding. Everybody likes welding. One little note that I should have mentioned right from the beginning is do not use galvanized pipe. In the fire, you're gonna get the zinc's gonna burn. You're gonna get fumes from the zinc, and you could definitely possibly die. You will get sick. You'll get metal fume poisoning. It's not worth it. Do not. Once again, I repeat, do not use galvanized pipe. Alright, for flux, I'm just using your regular old 20 multein borax. No secret recipes here, no voodoo. Get it down in there between the joint, best as you can. I'll probably take 2 welding heats on this, just to make sure everything is set. If you don't get your weld set, your bell won't have as distinct of a ring. Because the vibration between the two metals, it works just like a chain on your anvil. It will dampen the vibration from your clapper. And so that will basically negate the ring. And I'm rotating it because it is pipe, and one side can get hotter than the other. I don't want it to, but it will. And you can dress this weld up as much as you want, as much as you don't want, because we're gonna cover it up. You're not even gonna see this step that you get here. But I suggest if you do that, I suggest before you ever do this is figure out where this is going to join and upset this first, because what will happen is you're going to get wastage right at the weld, and you're going to end up with a thin spot. So you need to upset this to probably 3/8 or so, and it should blend in nicely. This is my second weld lead, and then that part will be done, and we'll start making our handle. And what I'll do when I'm ready to make my handle is I'll cut this extra length off. I'll cut it at about 5 inches or so, Uh, yeah, probably 5 inches. And then I will draw it out to probably 8 inches. It's a very long draw, so you can wrap it nicely around, all the way around the bell. I mean, I'm sure there's 100 different ways to do this, but this is just the way I do it, and the way I'm showing you how I do it. Now I'm just going to dress it up, make it look pretty. Nice taper. Try to keep it away from the sharp edges on your anvil because you'll leave marks. Try to use, I mean, that's why, I don't know, not everybody has a radius on their edges, but if you do, keep it there. And there we go. Alright, so I guess the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a good heat on the end, bring it to the horn, and I'm going to use the peen to flare this. And I'll show that also. Being that it's kind of an important part. You can use whatever peen you like, but this is a pretty sharp peen hammer, and I will switch to a big fat peen just because cosmetically I think it makes the bell look nicer. Just my preference. Alright. Just keep rotating it. And make sure you rotate it, because if you don't, you're going to end up with flat spots. Once again, once it gets down to a dull red, get it back in the heat. Like I said before, there's a weld seam inside that pipe. And when it gets cold, it's real easy to break and split. And you can flare this as much as you'd like, or as little as you like. I tend to go, I don't think overboard, but I flare it pretty good. And here's, it's probably 1.25 inches in diameter by the time I get done. And the peen of the hammer seems to put, to me, nice looking facets on the metal. When you wire brush it, the higher parts show up nicely. I think that'll work. Now that I'm looking at it, This might be an excellent way to make tulips or something of that nature. What's next? Alright, so now I am going to cut away for a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off right about here, and then I'm going to end up drawing a very long taper. I'll show that when I get it all set up. Okay, so here's the taper that I was talking about, the long taper. This was only about 4 or 5 inches long, and I drew out a very long taper. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an eye, and we're going to wrap it around here so we hide all this. I mean, it's not ugly or anything, and you can definitely make it pretty. Blending it in, and like I said, upsetting this part, but this just makes it quicker, easier. And so let's begin. I'm going to cool the bell part off just so I can grab a hold of it without worrying about hurting it, because I'm going to twist it around like so. Take another heat. Just making our eye right now. Won't take too long. Offset it just a touch more. A little crooked. I'll probably have to take a full heat on that to get it where I want it. But now I'm going to put it in a vise and bring my tail around the base of the belt. corrections here and there, and then I'll show you when I'm all done. Alright, so here's the bell that we just finished up. I just wire brushed it and cleaned it up. Now all you have to do, I'm not going to show you, but that little round piece we made earlier, the eye, all I do is take a piece of like 20-pound test fishing line and use a 1/4 20 nut, and it makes a great dinger. So that's it. If you got any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. If there is a video of something you would like to see that maybe nobody else is showing or you can't find, let me know, and maybe we can post something to show you guys how to do it. So that's the one we just made, and that's the one that I already made. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully I get to a video sooner next time. Thank you.